joined by Columbia head coach Megan Griffith. Coach, opening statement.
Yeah. Number one, I thought Harvard played a great game, and this is March, right? But with every fiber in my being, I believe we're an NCAA tournament team still, and we've beaten Harvard twice already this season. That's a top 100 net team. We're 23-5. We are 23-5. We have 13 road wins, the most in the country. We have top 100 non-conference strength of schedule. We went 6-1 on the road versus net top 100 teams. We went 6-1 on the road versus net top 100 teams. And this one game cannot define our season. I expect us to be playing in the tournament.
Questions for Coach?
Hey, Meg, what can you tell us about just the feelings in the locker room and what you say at this point? Is it what you just told us? Is that what you tell them, or how do you kind of deal with this in the moments just after the game?
Yeah, you have to process it, right? You have to process it quickly. I'm a gut feeler. I react really quickly. So for me, there's obviously you don't want to end your season that way, right? Or your Ivy League season that way. You don't want to end that way, but you got to show up and battle in those moments. And I think our team, they're doing a lot of internal thinking right now. I think they're really trying to dig deep and figure out what's going on, right? And that's something that needs to happen with this team. So if that stirred that emotion, then I'm excited for that and for the future. But right now, it's a locker room that's doing a lot of thinking right now.
Just a reminder, please say your name and affiliation before your first question. Next question. Yep, right here.
Perry Sook, Pix 11. Obviously the regular season finale ended in overtime with a clawback. This down 9 to come back. At what point does fatigue start to play a factor with these high-stake emotional games?
I believe that there's 3 kinds of fatigue, right? I think you can have physical, you can have mental and emotional fatigue. I thought today mental beat us more than anything. And that's just something that you have to keep your head in those games, right? You have to keep your head. And we did, at the end of the fourth quarter, I had no doubts that we weren't going to win that game. And, it's just like at the end of the game with the stop we needed, going into overtime, we execute, missed a couple free throws. And it's like, all right, now this is when you got to check it back in, right? And so I thought that, it wasn't necessarily for lack of physical or emotional fatigue. I thought they wanted that game. I thought they played like they wanted that game. I thought mentally we got a little fatigued at certain moments that were big moments.
Next question. Right here.
Yeah, George Hernandez, Columbia Daily Spectator. So you kind of talked about how you're looking forward, but as you look to regroup after this, like what things are you keeping in mind as you look to regroup after this loss?
Well, there's a lot. Like you're gonna try to break it down, especially when you watch the game, right? And in terms of like tactically, right? But to me, the biggest lesson right now is like taking a look in the mirror and saying, did I change the thing? Did I make the choice that I thought needed to help our team win today? And I think for a lot of our players right now, that's what they're talking about. Is I didn't make that choice this week, right? I didn't make that change. You have leaders on your team stepping up, like Abby, Kitty, saying, hey, like, I needed to be doing X when I did this, right? Like, and so for them to be able to recall those moments specifically in games, I think is a really great growth step for young players. And we have a lot of leadership. We have a lot of upperclassmen leadership. We all know that we have 7 seniors on our team. This is hard for them to swallow, right? It took them 5 years to get to this point, some of them. So, I just think, again, like the changes we need to make are easy in theory, right? But the choice and the actual habit that goes into that is the hard thing, right? So I think that right now that's what we're trying to do is make sure that we can do that moving into March.
Brian Lee, Columbia Spectator as well. Coach, last time the team played Harvard, Abby dropped the career high 35 points. Today she was a lot quieter. I think it was contributing 4 points on that. What did you see that was different from Harvard's game plan, in trying to contain her? And conversely, how do you respond as a team when your leading scorer is kind of shut down like that?
I thought Caitlin responded well, right? I think she took advantage of the opportunities that she was given. I think our team was a little quiet other than that. But Abby got different looks today. She, it's pretty much like face guarded. Like, number 14 didn't really let her get a lot of clean looks. And Abby, she got a lot of layups. right? You got to make those layups. And to me, it was just about that and then getting a couple shots up early that she just didn't get up. And I think, for her, this is a valuable lesson. It's like when you're one of the best players in the country, people are going to guard you like you're one of the best players in the country, right? Nobody guards anybody in our league like that. So for her, you've earned that opportunity. Now go take advantage of it, right? That's what she's got to learn in this moment. I know that she'll be ready to respond.
In the front on the aisle.
Jonathan Tannenwald, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Hi, Megan.
How you doing?
If last year in a certain way was the arrival of the program, given that there hadn't been a tournament for the couple of years prior, did you at any point tonight, before the game or whatnot, allow yourself to look around and know that you really have taken it to another step further this season? Because those of us who have been around it for a long time, as you have never seen it like this with Columbia, with not only a team that good, but a majority crowd in a gym like this,
Yeah, no, I didn't take a second today. I've been trying to all season, and I think. But today I was pretty laser line focused on what was going on between the lines. But I did hear our crowd. I did hear our community, and they were cheering for us. I did hear that. So it's special. I'm extremely fortunate to be in this position. Peter, our athletic director, took a chance on me when I was a 30-year-old kid. I'm still a kid. But, I can tell you I've grown immensely. I have an amazing staff of people around me that make me better. And, I think that it's just great that we're able to do this and play into March and have 20-win back-to-back seasons. I anticipate us continuing to grow. This is a great team. This is a great program filled with great players. And I know we'll be back next year.
Hi, Coach. Isabel Rodriguez with the Daily Princetonian. I'm just curious about that one moment and kind of in overtime, just to know more about what was going through your head with the 5-second violation and whether, what was going on with the timeouts and just to hear more about what was going on in your head during that moment.
I just think indecision for one of our players, right? And I was focused on the play and the person that was open, and I can take that for her. I can call that timeout for sure. I thought we could have made a play there, but those are really in-game, real-time situations, and you got to be ready to make the play, right? So, it's hard to go back and say, what could we have done, right? Here, I could show Kitty on film all of the people that were open probably, but that doesn't help her right now, right? She needs to be able to make those plays, and for a sophomore point guard, it's a great situation to be in to learn from.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. Coach, there was a kind of an odd thing that happened almost at the end of halftime. You guys came out several minutes before Harvard while the kids were still playing on the court. On the one hand, I was thinking, well, Columbia could be like ready to go and this is their patented third quarter push. Or maybe there's some miscommunication. Was there miscommunication like amongst the team? Like that just seemed like a very strange thing that you guys came out so much earlier than Harvard. Anything to that?
We did that at Harvard, ended up beating them, so I think it worked out okay.
Okay.
Steve Silverman, Ivy Hoops Online. Coach, it wasn't a great shooting night for your team, particularly, I think about 33, 34%. Was that Harvard just playing great defense, just an off night, the funky lights at Jadwin Gym? What are your thoughts about the shooting night tonight?
I know this gym very well.
Yeah.
I to me, I'm more concerned about the rebounding advantage, right? That was, to me, the big thing. That was the game, in my opinion. I thought Harvard did a great job on the glass in the first half. We did keep them at bay in the second half, but at that point, there was a lot of momentum and confidence that was built from that. A lot of second chances. Mackenzie made some really big plays. She only played 7 minutes last time we played them. So I knew that she would be ready to go tonight. And you just got to be ready for that. But again, the shooting woes, like, that happens. That's the game, But I think the gritty plays, the toughness plays, that's when you win and lose these games.
I neglected to state my name before. So Jen Hadfield from the Next. On a positive note, Caitlin's scoring output 27 is a career high. You talked about mental fatigue for your team. What was different for Caitlin in her approach or her ability to get through that, and what did you like that you saw from her?
Just aggressive from the start. I like to say selfish KD. I thought she embodied that well today. She's a playmaker at heart, right? She's like Magic Johnson when she plays. She's out there making plays. She makes other people better. That's why she got a triple-double as a forward. How many forwards get triple-doubles, right? But I would just say, like, today she was just letting the game come to her. She was being aggressive. She didn't overthink plays. So it was really great to see. I'm proud of her, for stepping up in that moment. In the last couple games, like, she's seen people dropped because people can't really guard her off the bounce. So it's like now everybody's sitting in the paint against you. What are you going to do? I thought she did a great job attacking today and being in attack mode.
Time for one more.
I just want to follow up with the positive there. Could you talk about Hannah and Jada's performance? Really strong from both of them tonight.
I thought strong but inconsistent, right? That's the one thing. That was the big message that we just talked about in the locker room, was just like being inconsistent tonight. And that came from our players too. Like, they knew it, right? They were just like, we didn't have our heads the entire game. Right. And whether that was a 5-minute period here and again, like Harvard, I'm sure Carrie would sit up here and tell you she didn't play perfect either, their team. Right. But it's like, who can keep their head the most in a game like that when there's that much on the line? So, I thought they showed up and hit some big shots. I thought Hannah hit some big shots. They just made some big plays. But again, just from the start to finish of 45 minutes, I don't think we were consistent enough individually.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But we will be in the NCAA tournament, so let's go.